Hey everyone, Tabitha here with the Next Level Laser Conference. Today we've got Will and Mark, and yeah, let's see if I can. Oh, I did this right. Will,
Yep.
Mark down there. Uh, and today we're going to be talking to Mark about the class he's going to be teaching for the conference. Uh, he was thinking he was going to get out of it this year, but we found a spot for him, and he'll be teaching Illustrator. And I'd
Yep.
love to hear a little bit about your journey with Illustrator and why you use it and what people can expect to learn in the class.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Victor for bailing on me and making me do this. Victor, if you're watching, you know I love you. I'm totally kidding. But I'm really excited to do this. I love to teach, and I would love to help people who are using Illustrator. Real quick, my journey with Illustrator. I started doing graphic design several years ago, very long time ago, and I started using Photoshop. And I did not make any vectors of any kind. I didn't even know how to use Illustrator until I got my Glowforge, which was back in 2000. What was it? 17. 2017 was when I first started using Illustrator. I didn't really have a need to do vectors at the time, or I say I didn't. I didn't understand why they were important. And when I got my Glowforge, I started learning Illustrator. So I've been pretty much self-taught, with the exception of every time I send a shout out to Victor or someone like that when I need some help. But I started doing vectors about the time I got a laser, because I realized how important that was. And I'm trying to think back to why I started with. Oh, I know why. It's because I was already paying for part of the Adobe suite in the first place for Photoshop. So it just seemed like a natural thing to go ahead and start using Illustrator as well. So that's how I started getting into it. I talk about this all the time, that with different people, different interfaces or different programs seem to connect with you where it may not connect with someone else. And maybe it's because I was using Photoshop. I'm not really sure, but the user interface for Illustrator just seemed to make a little more sense to me than for some other programs. So I stuck with it, and I find it being fairly intuitive for me and the way my brain works. So I've just stuck with it, you know. So that's why I use it, and I enjoy it. I like it a lot.
Awesome. Now with Adobe, do you have to constantly upgrade your system with that, or is it like a subscription that it automatically upgrades?
Great question. It is so first of all, it is a subscription for sure. And there are a lot of options out there that are not. So I don't necessarily push that everybody should use Illustrator, but if you do, it is a monthly subscription. I believe, as far as the updating, I think that you can turn on auto updating or manual. I believe I have mine on auto, so at any given moment when I open mine, it's whatever the latest version is.
Okay.
So that's what I do, and I prefer that. I find that they update a lot, but the day to day using of it rarely changes. It's usually back of the house kind of things happening. So I really don't notice a lot of changes myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know I asked that because for Corel, for years I had just the paid one-time version,
yeah,
and I was really struggling because my software became outdated so badly, and I didn't realize that that's what I was struggling with until
yeah,
somebody said maybe you should update it, and I went and looked at it, and now they have the subscription, and so
yeah.
now I've got the automatic updates. But it's good to know that Adobe has that for you too. Have they
Have
always
you?
been that way?
Always no, but a long time. It's been
Okay,
a long time. Do you
yeah.
find? I'm curious. Do you find that when updates happen that it's significant, or is it kind of just under the radar for you most of the time?
Mostly under the radar, like
Yeah,
one or two small things. I was like, "Oh, well, that's a nice update. Didn't realize they
yeah,
did that." Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
first off, I want to
awesome.
say thank you guys for all joining us here in the chat. If you guys have any questions for Mark, if it has to do with Illustrator or any questions, feel free. I'm monitoring the chat. I'll ask those questions, but thanks for joining us. I had a quick question for you, Mark. When it
Yeah.
comes to someone who's just starting out with Illustrator, right? It's something completely new to us. What are some good resources that you would say? I mean, other than coming to Next Level and taking your
Sure.
class, what are
Sure.
some great resources to start out with when you're learning Illustrator?
I think the two best, this is not going to be a surprise. Both of these will be obvious. But I think the first place is the adobe.com website. They've got a ton of tutorials there, lots and lots of tutorials. So definitely always look to the manufacturer's website first, and also the manufacturer's YouTube channel, the Adobe one. And then beyond that, you can then also just look for YouTube tutorials. The challenge, not just with Illustrator, but with honestly with any design program that I'm aware of, they are not made specifically for lasers, right? Except for apparently Tabitha told me about something. Maybe we'll talk about in just a minute. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're not specifically for lasers. So there's tons of tutorials that maybe you'll never use, like or functions you'll never touch. So just bear that in mind as you're starting to learn something. Just know, hey, there's a lot of functions here that I don't really need to know. But I would go first of all to adobe.com and then to YouTube as well. And then the third thing that I recommend all the time is if you're in the position of deciding which programs to use, of course you can ask me. I'm gonna ask you questions back. I'm not just going to tell you to use Illustrator, but I'm going to say, what kind of things have you used before? What kind of things do you want to make? Have you had any success with a program in the past that you really like? And then what I recommend is that regardless of which program you choose, consider strongly that you're going to need help from time to time. So think about the environments and the communities that you're in. And if you're like, let's say you're in a community that's with me a lot, you might consider Illustrator because you know that I'm around and I can give you a hand. That kind of thing. Think about what program you're using and who's around you, because it's going to be a little frustrating to learn if there's nobody to ask questions of. So that's about the other thing I say. And if you can find a community that supports the one you want to buy or use, that's fantastic. I think I know several people who are good at all the programs out there. So I can pretty much name for you people, whichever one you decide to choose. But yeah, that's a really long answer to whatever question you asked that I completely forgot what it was.
Resources. I think you hit the
Okay.
nail on the head.
All right.
So I know we're going to jump into some of the tips and some things that you use Illustrator with a lot that will help laser users. We do have a question here real quick, and you might get to this later, but I'll ask it now since it's here. Do you design with your Lightburn layers colors in mind, matching your cut, score, engraved colors with how you have them set in Lightburn?
Great question, Mikey. In fact, this morning I was working on that exact question for my class, and so I will make sure that I'll let you know even before the end of August. But you can make a palette, a color palette in Illustrator that will match your Lightburn colors, and then that way you can use the exact same colors. So when you open it in Lightburn, they'll match exactly. I have not been doing that, and now that I look back, I realize how dumb that is. But if you match, like, say, the red that you're using in Illustrator to the red that's in Lightburn and so forth, when you open it up, the colors will match. Now, that does not necessarily mean that the function will be the function you want, right? Because you can choose the functions you want in Lightburn, but at least the colors will match, so they won't just be wonky. Because I found that, man, if you're off by a couple numbers in the hexadecimal of that color, it's not even close. So I've been learning how to do the color palettes, and I will share that with you, and I'll share that in the class as well. I don't have it down yet, so I'm not sharing it this morning. But yeah, that's a great question, and it's kind of a one and done. Once you get that palette put in there and just choose that palette, then it'll just make your life a lot easier. So we'll definitely cover that, and I'll put it in a resource as well. Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you, Mikey. I saw that. Yeah,
And that was actually a great question.
yeah,
So with your journey, you're self-taught then, or did you
yeah.
have to take a class on this? Okay.
No, I've never taken any class. It probably would have helped, uh, but no, I've not taken any classes.
Okay. So were there any tools that when you finally got around to figuring out what they were, you're like, "Oh, I wish I had known this years ago."
Yes, there's so many,
Yeah.
and I will tell you, none of them are huge. Like
Mhm.
they're so subtle. Mike, I don't know that Tyler's watching, and but maybe Victor too. When I learned paste in place, which is technically not an Illustrator one, it's kind of, I think it's on every computer and every program, I think. But do you get either one of you guys know what paste in place is?
No.
I've heard it because we've referenced it when you've talked about
Oh
learning
my
it
gosh, I
a
feel
couple
so
years ago.
so dumb. In fact, I'll show it in just a few minutes. But all that paste in place is if you copy something to your clipboard, and if you hit paste later, it's going to paste it somewhere else, right? And I've never really
Mhm.
figured out the logic of where it pasted. I don't know if you guys have, but it just seems to just kind of throw it on my workspace, right? But if you hit paste in place, it'll put it exactly where it was copied from. And you don't realize how useful that is until you need it. Because let's say I'm doing I don't know, maybe 2 circles, and I copy a circle and I want to put another circle right on top of it and then maybe make it bigger, for example. I paste it pastes way over here, and then I try to either align it or eyeball it or use the align tools or whatever. But if you just copy, paste, and place, it puts it dead on top of it. And when I learned that, I thought, and honestly, that was last year when I learned it. And now I use it multiple times a day. It's awesome. But I was pretty embarrassed that I didn't know that before. So that was super handy. There's another one I'll show it to you in just a minute too. But there's one where if you got to duplicate something, you can hold down the Option key on a Mac. It might be Control on a PC, but Option and drag something. So if you got a circle, you can click on it and Option drag, and it'll just drag out another copy of that circle right from the first one. And such a time saver as opposed to copy paste. It goes way over there, and then I got to drag it around. So that's another thing. Great question. There's most all of the game changing things I've learned are really, really small, but I use them every day. I love it. Great question.
I feel like all the different tools, when we're designing, it's very much like when we're using a new material with leather or with leatherette, like I need to go through and do all my settings just to test everything because each supplier is going to be a little bit different.
Yep.
But I don't do that. I just want to start with what I know and then
Yep.
work off of there, like maybe, just adjust something small. The same thing with the tools. Like, okay, I found that this one works good enough. So I'm just going to make everything work with that. And I don't stop and actually learn to use every one of the tools. And then, if anything's updated and then there's a new tool, I'll recognize that there's a new tool there, but that's new. I don't want to touch it. That's going to take my time, right? I've already figured out how to do this good enough.
Well, and sometimes you literally don't know that there's anything to fix.
Yes.
Like you don't even know that there's a tool you need to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, most of us don't have the time or don't take the time to just go, hey, I'm going to poke around and decide find out what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know that because I had a guy here in the office all the time, Tyler, sometimes we'd be watching each other work and one of us would go, what are you doing? And we're doing something we do all day, every day. And then all of a sudden you go, what, am I doing something stupid? Yeah. Or whatever. And so after a while, I got a little bit anxious every time Tyler would be behind me or something, or vice versa, thinking, what am I doing dumb that I don't realize? But my goal for this class is in fact, my title is just, is to get in, get out, and get back to life or get back to work. I want to teach people the tools that I use every day so that you can get done what you want to get done. Maybe there's a few people out there that actually just want to spend all day in Illustrator. I don't, and I'm a designer. I want to get the design done and go make it and move on to something else. And so I'm going to spend most of our time teaching you the tools that I use every single day. And we may touch on a few things that you'll use rarely, but I don't want to burn a bunch of time on something you use almost never. I want to spend most of our time on the tools that will just help you get things done that you want to get done. And so that's where we're going to spend most of our time.
Okay, so
That's
with
great.
your class for the conference, would you say that's geared towards people who have never touched Illustrator before, or what level should they come in at?
The joke, it's kind of a joke I use, is that I'm aiming it toward first year or 101 second semester. That's kind of the phrase I've been using is, if you've never opened Illustrator before, I will cover a couple of things really quick, but I'm not trying to show you how to click open and then how to click file save. I'm assuming that you know how to save something. I'm assuming you know how to open a file. So we're going to move past that pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use to kind of guide us through the class. We're going to make a very simple multi-layer Christmas ornament. And in doing that, we're going to touch on a bunch of features that I use all the time. And although you may end up in the class making an ornament that you actually want to keep, that's not the goal. We're not trying to make a piece of art necessarily, although maybe, you never know. But I just want to teach you all of the functions that I use all the time. And I feel like making an ornament probably touches on most or all of them that I use every day. So it's kind of for 101 second semester level people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to come into your class, obviously they need to have Illustrator already downloaded.
Yes.
Is there
Yeah.
anything else that they'll need to bring with them?
No, I will just add a detail there is some people use Illustrator on the iPad, and I will tell you that that's not what I'm focusing on. So if that's something you do, you might get something out of the class, but I will tell you that the interface is really different on the iPad, and that's not what I'm going to be focusing on. So I'll be focusing on a laptop desktop kind of thing. So if you have your laptop and you can bring it, I think you'll get a lot more out of the class if you bring it and kind of work along with us as we go. So definitely bring that. Other than that, I mean, if you're a note taker and you prefer to write stuff down, by all means, bring something to do that with. I'm kind of a tech nerd, so I'll probably just, if for me, I would take notes on my computer. But if you're a writing person, bring a notebook. We might actually have some notebooks for you, so you might be good with that. But yeah, bring whatever you want to take notes, and just be ready to do it together while we go. And then don't forget that you will get the video of the class afterwards, so you can replay it for yourself as you need to.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, but does Illustrator have maybe like a free trial that they could potentially download? Like, say if I'm someone who's contemplating Illustrator and I wanted to use it for 7 days and go to your class and have it downloaded there, is that something, or do I have to sign up and subscribe right away?
I'm going to look because I don't actually know, because they've changed things from time to time. It does look like they have a free trial, but I think it's from a quick Google search. I believe, yeah, they do have a free trial, and I think it's 14 days. Don't quote me on that, but I tried to just click on it. It says you already own this. So yes, I do. But yes, it looks like there is one. And I will say again that there is a cost to Illustrator. It is not free. So I love it. It is the industry standard for design, but it is not perfect for everybody. So if it's for you, great. If it's not, oh, there you go. Diana, 7-day free trial. When I Googled it, Diana, it said 14-day on the Google search, but it's either 7 or 14. So yeah, if you want to check it out and do that, for sure, I think that'd be a great idea. Good suggestion there. But definitely, if it's 7 or 14, just check that out before you go, so that we have enough time to play with it.
Excellent. So I know we're here for you to show us a little bit of what you do with Illustrator. So I think it'd be great to just jump in. Maybe we can share your screen. Yeah. You can show us some of the things that you do every day, but also some of the things that you'll be touching on in the class.
Yeah.
You let me know when your screen is ready, and
I am ready.
Throw it on
You go for it. Well, let's do it. Yep.
Now, here we go. Well, you know what? It's not. Your screen is not.
Oh, ready. You meant ready. I didn't know what you meant by ready. I was kidding. Yeah, let me do that. So y'all talk among yourselves for a minute, and I'll be right back.
As we search Mark's browser history. All right, there you go. Look,
okay. All right.
Put it on yourself.
I didn't realize that. Did I do that? Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into showing you just a couple of things. We're not going to go through a complete project by any means, but I want to show you a few things that will give you an example of the way that I teach, in case you're not familiar with me. And I'll give you a couple examples of what we'll do in the class. We'll cover a whole lot more. In fact, I'm just going to give you just a partial list here of the things we're going to cover. We're going to talk about, yeah, that wasn't me, by the way. I'll figure that out in a minute, why that did that. So if we have tech issues, we'll figure that out again here. Will, do I need to do something here, or is that something?
Yeah.
Don't share my screen again. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, your screen is actually not on our.
Okay.
You have to put it back on the presenter invite, I think.
Okay. We'll see what happens here.
We moved Mark down one level on the screen, and now nothing's going right. See?
All right. So we'll see what happens here. But we'll do all things. We're gonna talk about outline view, which I use every single day. We'll talk about the shape tool, copy, paste in place. I'm going to teach you how to option, drag, and duplicate things, how to do an offset path. We're going to use some Pathfinder features. Group and ungroup sounds really simple, but there are times when a lot of you message me and you say, hey, I tried to ungroup something, it didn't work. Well, sometimes that's because it's a compound path, and I'm going to teach you the difference between grouping and ungrouping and a compound path and releasing a compound path. We're going to talk about how to type text and how to turn text into paths or outlines. We'll weld some shapes together. We'll weld some text to shapes. We're going to use some fonts. I'll show you in Illustrator how to do a font filter to get like just cursive ones or just block ones. Seems really simple, but it'll save you some time. We're going to talk about warping text to an arc a little bit. We're going to use the polygon tool, basic alignment tools, rounding corners, curvature tools. So I'm going to touch on all those so that you have at least have tried it once or twice and see how that works for you. So let me just start by, and let me know if there's any questions that come up there, and I'll see if I can address them as we go. But for example, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to use the ellipse tool, and I'm just going to create a couple of circles to start an ornament. And you'll see that when we start to make a very simple ornament, you're going to start using a lot of the features that you'll use in other ways as well. So I'm just going to go over here to the ellipse tool, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and drag out a circle. And when you hold Shift down, it constrains it so it's always a perfect circle. Just for the sake of this particular illustration, I'm going to make this way larger than you would normally make an ornament, because this is going to be a gigantic ornament if I made it this size. But I'm going to do it just so you can see it a little easier on the screen, and I'll zoom in even a little farther. So there we've got a circle there. And if you want to know how big it is, there's the transform feature here. And I want to stop for just a second and tell you, I think this is going to be true about Corel, about Inkscape, about Silhouette, all these. There are so many different ways for you to display the tools on your screen. And so a lot of times when someone is looking at my screen or my tutorials for Illustrator, they're going to say, oh, my tools are over there, or my icon's over there, or that one's not on my screen at all. And that's what's great about Illustrator, and also what can be frustrating when you're trying to learn is it can look a lot of different ways. So for example, I know that Tyler and Victor both, they like to keep their their transform tools or their properties, like you see right here on my screen. They like to keep that over on the right side where they can always see them. I don't. I just do it differently. And so we'll talk a little bit about that in the class. So when you click on transform up here, you see that this circle is 7.28 by 7.28. Obviously, it's really big. But we got this first circle. And then if I want to make a layered ornament, I'm going to make another circle that's either inside it or outside it to make that border around it. So there's a couple ways you can do that. I'll show you both real quick. You can either do an offset path. And so we'll go to Object and then Path and then Offset Path right there. Object Path and Offset Path. And then it's going to ask you, how much do you want to offset this path? And do you want to do it inside the existing circle or outside the existing circle? And let's just say, for example, that I was making a 4-inch ornament, which what I should have done instead of 7.28. But if you're making a 4-inch ornament, I want to keep it 4 inches. So I want the offset path to be inside that one. I don't want to make it bigger than 4 inches. So in this case, I'm going to choose a negative 1/4 inch or negative 0.25 inch offset. You see that there in the middle? And then I'm going to hit OK. And now, oh, look what I did. Yep, this is a perfect teaching moment. So because I don't have any stroke color going on, you can't see either one of these circles. They look invisible. And so now I'll just go ahead and give it a little bit of a stroke thickness, and now you can see them. That's a mistake I'll make sometimes when I first start. So now you can see both of these circles. Now, right now, I can move the inside circle independently from the outside. I'll undo that. And there's two ways for me to stop myself from moving those separately. I can either group them together, or I can subtract the inside circle from the outside circle and make it a single compound shape. And the second way is what I usually do. Let me show you how that works. If I select both of them by dragging over both of them and selecting the inside and the outside, I can then go to Pathfinder, which I've got over here. And the second one here says minus front. And what that does is it subtracts the shape that's on the front from the shape that's on the back in terms of layer order. So if I do that and I click it, it's going to look magical. Kidding. Nothing's going to happen visually at all. But now I subtracted that. And so now it's a single shape all in one, and they won't be accidentally moved separately. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's what I do there. Now, one of the things I've learned, yep, thank you, technology, for kicking me back out again. We'll try this one more time. If that just keeps happening, we'll just move on and talk about other things. So I don't want to have everybody struggle with that. And if you guys have any suggestions, I am down for it. I have no idea why it's kicking me out. By the way, this won't happen at the class because we'll be in the same room together, so we won't have to worry about that.
If anyone's getting kicked out of Mark's class, it's me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If Will keeps finding himself standing outside the class all of a sudden. Perfect. So we'll learn how to subtract one shape from another. And then if this was an ornament, like we talked about, you'd normally have a loop or a ring here at the top. There are a couple different ways to do that too. We'll just hold shift down and draw out a ring like this, or a circle. And what we can do is you can put it up like that. And by the way, I just made it whatever random size I wanted to. We could select both the circle and this, so we have everything together, and we can go to align, and then we can align it center, horizontal center, like that, so that now it's perfectly in line like this. And we could, I'll show you a couple different ways we could do this. We could either do an offset path to put a circle inside here, and that's the better way to do it. Or we could copy and paste this circle, and we can make a smaller one inside, or we can just simply draw one inside, whichever you prefer. I want to do an offset path because I want it to be the same offset that the rest of this is, because that's how I'd prefer to have it. So I'm going to go Object, Path, and Offset Path again. And now I've got an offset path that's the same. So we'll do one more step here, and then we'll move back to taking some questions, because I know this can be tedious, but I wanted you guys to see how I teach and how we can move through this pretty quickly and still learn to use all of these different features. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this compound path that we made earlier, and I'm going to select, without selecting the inside of that yet, I'm just going to select the outside and then this ring. And if I go to shape modes and I go to unite, I unite it into one shape like that. Now, this piece can still be moved, and we don't really want that because that can happen accidentally. Like I said earlier, we could group these together, or we could select these and then Pathfinder minus front, and now this is all one piece that doesn't come apart. So hopefully that's helpful. What we would do next is we would make a couple different other circle layers to make a layered ornament. We would type out some text. We would weld we do an offset path to the text, weld that to this. Maybe we'll make a Christmas tree to put in another layer. And we'll just start adding some different layers and put it all together to make an ornament. And as we do that, you will learn how a lot of these functions work. And I think that's a great and easy way to learn it. And then, like I said earlier, you might end up with an ornament that you want to use later. Who knows? But that's how we're going to go through the class. And I think you'll learn a lot that way. I also have a few things that we might sneak in at the end if we get a chance to. I might just touch on tracing raster logos that you get from people. We might do that. And we might talk about the built-in AI vector generator that's built into Illustrator if we get to it. So that's just a kind of a way to just see a little bit of a flavor of how I teach and what we're going to talk about. So you guys, what kind of questions do you have for me, the two of you or anybody else? What do we want to talk about there?
I was just looking at your tools. They're definitely different than what I use. So,
oh, the ones on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can
But I'm
technically
using,
you can make your own tool palette over there. I never have. Like you could just put in the ones that you use. That's probably a good idea. It's just not something I've done. I will tell you, all those tools over there, I use almost none of those. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 out of all those, with any regular basis.
And your desktop, you can customize it to what suits you, right? Like you said,
Yes.
yours looks different than, say, Victor's.
Yes.
Just wherever you feel like which tools you use the most, which things you tend to want to see more regularly, where you don't have to click an extra button. So, which is really nice.
Like I've seen people float these because they like them that way, and that's great. There's no wrong way to do it. You can float them. You could dock them like inside each other. Like, for example, I could take this up here and I could make them tabs here instead. I've seen people have like 5 or 6 tabs across here instead, because that's what they prefer. You could take this and put it here, like that. So now they're all like this. Whatever you prefer, just know that when you go to get help from somebody, it's almost 100% guaranteed theirs going to look different than yours. And there's no wrong way, just however you prefer.
Now with Illustrator versus say other design programs,
Yeah.
I know are there things in Illustrator that you can do that other programs don't do or don't do as well that you've seen? I know you don't use a ton of others, you only use Illustrator, but
Yeah.
or is it just
I've used
they
almost
all
all of
kind of
them.
do the
Yeah.
same they all kind of do the same thing, just different terminology, different tools?
Yeah. I would say 95% of the time, any of the well-known vector design programs out there, they can almost all do the same thing. I think there's a couple that may not have a trace function built in. That's one of the separating things, but most of them can do everything that the rest of them can do. So it really comes down to just which flavor do you prefer.
And if you were to get Illustrator and say I have multiple computers, how many different devices can you actually have Illustrator
Um,
on?
yeah, two,
Two. Okay.
and that ran into trouble for me because I have so many computers here at the office. I kind of got to where I enjoyed. So just tell you how my workflow works. I use my laptop almost 100% of the time. I got it right here in front of me. But I use Dropbox. You guys could use Google Drive. You could use OneDrive, whatever you want, where I've got Dropbox installed on, I've got an iMac right here off to the side. I've got 3 Mac minis in the other room, and they've all got Dropbox on them so that when I design something, it automatically syncs and my designs end up on all my computers all the time. So if I want to walk over and use, say, my one laser over here, I can just bring up the file that I just worked on and I can bring it up over there. But I can't have Illustrator installed on all of them. I can only have 2. When I had a team member here, Tyler here, I had to buy another license because I wanted to have more than 2. And so that is one limitation there that's not awesome. So that's a great question. If you need it more than twice, you're going to have to pay more. You're going to have to pay an additional fee. Or technically you can have somebody log out and have somebody else log in somewhere else. That is a complete pain in the behind, but you can do that. That does work. Not functional, but it does work.
You like to just get to the computer, open it, and go.
Yes, because you can open it when you are like on the 3rd iteration of one. It'll come up, it'll say, hey, you've got this open too many places. Do you want to close it everywhere else? And I can just hit a button and close it everywhere else. It doesn't matter if someone's using it. Not a great idea, but you can technically do it.
Here's a great question from Mikey that we hear quite a bit in the laser community. If it's
Yes,
designed in a certain program and then it's sized differently. So when saving an SVG, do you change any of the default output settings?
I do. In fact, let me see if I can get my screen back up here. I will show you which ones I do. And great
I'll throw
question.
this up there really quick while you're setting that up. Corel Trainer, you guys rock. See you all soon. We're
Oh,
excited to
yes.
have you as well. So
Those guys are so great. If you want to learn Corel, you owe it to yourself to take that class for sure. Great
I'm
guys.
looking forward to that one.
Yes, great guys, great teachers. You're going to love that. So here's the SVG options. When you go to save as an SVG, here's what I recommend. Here's what I do. So I'll just go from the top real quick. I leave it as SVG 1.1. I don't mess with that. I don't mess with any of these here. This is important though. This 3rd one right here, it says image location embed link. Now, let me touch on that real quick. Link means that the elements that are in your file, let's say there's a photograph, or let's say there's something like that that's in your file. If you choose link, that means that that photograph is not actually going to be saved in the file. It's going to be left like in a folder somewhere, wherever that one was living, and it's going to link to it, which if you're only using this on one computer, that will be fine. But if you want to save that SVG and send it to me, if you were selling it for some reason or using it on another computer, that link doesn't work anywhere else. So it keeps your file size smaller, but that item's no longer there. So I never use link. I just use embed. And that means that all the pieces that I need for this file are in the file. So that's one. And then the other thing that I've learned, and if you ask me how to explain why this is, it's a little bit above my head. But right here where it says decimal places, I've learned from several people to use decimal places of 5 or more. And I found that if you use like 1 or 2, it has some trouble in different programs. I literally do not understand what that means, to be honest. All I know is that 5 works great and less doesn't work for me. So starting from the top, embed, and then decimal places 5. And then I also never, ever, I wanted to zoom in here. I realized I can't. Zoom in. Yeah. Do not have responsive checked right here. That will create all kinds of problems, because what responsive is great for is when you're making something for a website to where it's going from say a small screen like a phone to a big screen. It can change sizes, but you never want that for a laser file. So a lot of times when somebody tells me, oh, it's changing sizes when I open it, it's one of two things. And one of them is possibly that they had responsive checked when they saved it. So don't do that. And yeah, those are the settings that I use. Great question. Oh, hey, sorry about that. I'll let one of you fix that here.
Yeah, here, that's
You got it? All right, there you go.
Kick it out.
Yep. So that great question, Mikey. And I will make sure I include that either as a screenshot or something in the class as well, so people know that. Excellent question. What else?
Like mentioned before, it will all be recorded. So
Yep.
if you fall behind in the class or you don't get a chance to take the class, you can still get it with your ticket.
Yep. Absolutely. Because it's going to be a lot to take in.
How many times are you teaching the actual class at the conference?
I'm going to teach it twice. I think both, if I remember my class schedule, I think mine are both on Saturday morning, I believe. So yeah, check out either one that works for your schedule. I'd love to have you. And of course I'm available throughout the whole event. So I'd love to talk to you anytime, but they're 90-minute classes. I'm going to try to fill it up as much as I can. We'll have some Q&A near the end. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Depending on the complexity of the question, if it's a 301 level question and I can answer it quickly, I will. But we want to try to keep it kind of in the neighborhood of what we're trying to do there in the class. But certainly, if you have questions, we'll take them there at the end as well.
All right, here's a tip from Mikey for all you Illustrator subscribers. When I go to cancel, they always offer me 50% off my Adobe membership for a year.
Nice. Perfect.
There you go.
Do we mention your name, Mikey? Does that help?
You got a link, affiliate link?
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah, do you use that every year or every other year?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, how evergreen is that? Can you just do that forever? That's awesome.
Mikey's giving all the secrets. Anyone from Adobe, the Next Level Laser Conference, do not condone anything in the chat. You guys do your own thing. We are not responsible for that, but I will do. Oh, Mikey says every year
so far.
I see that every year so far. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, my goal more than anything is just to help you get the tools that you need to get the job done. We will talk about, we'll touch on things like adjusting slots. A lot of people have trouble with that, slots and tabs. It's much easier than you think it is. It's not that hard in almost every case. So what I've been doing over the last several weeks is I've just been making a list of all the things that I do on a regular basis that I think you can use. And we're just going to try to just get through as many of those as we can so that when you walk away, you're going to say, man, I learned what I needed. In fact, I will just reiterate, I think Tabitha kind of hinted at this at the very beginning of this live stream, is that sometimes you just need 1 or 2 tips that can change your whole day. And maybe I'm going to give you a dozen, but maybe you'll walk away and go, oh my gosh, the only one I cared about was paste in place. And that was awesome, or whatever. So I'm just going to try to give you all the tools that I do every day and hope that that lets you get your job done faster and feel more confident and get back to whatever it is you want to do.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing class. I think a lot of people definitely resonate with your teaching style. You're able to get them where they need to get to quicker, right? In a way that you understand as a teacher who, and you've been doing this your whole life, is it's not necessarily just the topic, but how you get them to from
Yeah.
point A to point B. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to sitting in the class and
No,
learning
no
a little bit
pressure.
of
No
Illustrator.
pressure.
No
Got
pressure.
the
No
boss in the
pressure at all.
class. Oh. And by the
Yeah,
way, if you think that's a joke, it's totally not a joke. Whenever you guys are, if you guys are in a class, man, that always makes me, oh, I got to do a good job. That's great.
Yeah, so we are very excited to have you uh, as a teacher at this conference. You know, I mean, we didn't think you would be coming, but we thought, hey, if we add you as a teacher, we can get you to come. So, um, if you guys have any questions too out there in the chat, it could be about Illustrator, it could be about the conference. Since you have us here,
Yep.
we got a couple more minutes here. We're really excited about it. If you guys don't know, it's August 28th through the 30th. We're a little bit over 5 weeks away.
Oh,
Um, I mean, a month from today, we'll be in Dallas getting ourselves ready for the actual conference. So um, we're excited to have all of you there. There's still hotel rooms available in our room block if you're interested.
yep.
We have, like we said, we have 24 different topics that we're covering for breakout classes. So I think it's going to be really amazing. If you're not going to be able to take every single class. It's just the
Nope.
reality of this conference. But when the conference is over, we're going to have every single class recorded. You will get a copy of every single
Yeah.
breakout class and keynote speech, so you won't miss anything. So, and that's only for ticket holders. So
Yeah.
it's not something that we're going to offer outside of people who actually come to the event or have a ticket.
Yep. Yep.
Our buddy Blake is here. He says, "What's up?"
What's up, Blake? Man, we love Great
We're
Lakes Laser
excited to have
Supply.
Blake. Yep, they will
Yes.
be there. So,
Oh, Danny, good to see you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you again, my friend. That's going to be great. Sometime, if you guys, Danny, you've got to share the photo. I don't know where you shared them, but the photos of you moving your laser, that was fantastic. I don't recall where you shared that, but that was pretty creative. I loved it.
and we're lucky we have two of the teachers here, right? Tabitha, you'll be teaching a class at the
Yes.
conference as well. So, what are you teaching,
I
Nikhil?
know. I'm teaching about making hats.
There you go.
Specifically, more than just decorating, but actually making a profit with them, wholesaling, how to get those contracts and whatnot. So should be a good class.
This is. I think we can all agree on this. Our team this is our 4th year, and we definitely feel like there's more value packed into this one than anyone we've done so far. It's huge. In fact, there's been moments where I'll be honest, there's been moments where we looked at the class list and we're like, wow, what are we thinking putting this many in here? But it's a great problem to have. We also have we're going to have 4 general sessions. One that start off the event on Thursday, one on Friday morning, one on Saturday morning, and then close out on Saturday afternoon. And so that's going to be great. I'll be talking in the first one. And the second one, we're going to have one of my good friend, Johnny Hampton, here from Hampton Creative. He's incredible. He and I just had some time this morning talking about it. So you're going to love him. And we got Alicia Pate on Saturday morning, I believe. And she's going to be talking about the importance of having systems. And man, I need all of that. So I'm really looking forward to learning from that. And then, of course, we've got Emily Caroline. She's, of course, I don't think I've got to introduce her to this community, but she's fantastic. She brings all the energy and all the passion, and she's going to be incredible as well. So it's going to be a great event. It is absolutely like trying to drink from a fire hose. It's a lot of information to try to take in, but hey, it's a great problem to have. And by the way, it's at a pretty cool venue. When you guys like Tabitha, the first time you walked in there, what was your thoughts when you walked in there?
Just the first word that came to mind was just this place is huge. The
Yes.
fact that we needed a app to find our way around at first is incredible.
Yeah.
That atrium in the middle, where it doesn't matter how hot it is in Texas, it's
Nope.
very comfortable out there.
It
It
is.
feels like you're outside, but at a comfortable temperature. So
It's very cool. Yeah, Christy, I see your question. All the breakout sessions are recorded, every one of them. So it's going to be great. Although I will tell you, I'll make a
that
joke.
was a big undertaking to get the general session room,
Oh,
eight breakout rooms to have a camera and all the stuff that you need to make sure that we provide that content. But we understand the value that these teachers are bringing, the amount
yeah,
of work that they're putting into
yeah.
presenting an amazing class for you guys, and we want to make sure you get it all.
It's a bunch for sure. That was another thing that when we started that we thought, oh my gosh, is that a good idea? That was a lot. Uh, in fact, just off screen here, I've got a stack of projectors next to me here. I don't know, is it 20, 24? I don't remember how many. There's a
20,
lot
yeah,
going.
24
Yeah,
projectors.
a lot of resources that have gone into this. So, and it's all so that you guys can walk away with the experience you really want and need, and that's our goal there. One of the phrases that I keep thinking about over and over again is just that we want this to be meaningful and memorable. We want it to really matter for you, and we want you to remember it in a good way, right? So we're really working on a ton of things for you, and I'm really excited about it. And we want to fill your day with stuff, but we also want you to just have time, to hang out with each other, to meet new people, to see your old friends. Uh, yeah, Diana, it's a great idea. It makes picking classes less stressful. Every class is taught at least twice, and a lot of them are taught 3 times. So our goal is to allow you to get to as many as you're able to get to, and also to keep the class size not crazy big, right? We'd rather you be able to interact with the teacher and with the class at a smaller level than just for it to be overwhelmingly large. If we were just going to do that, we could have just put everybody in a giant room, right? But that's not our goal.
So for you
No,
guys, 4 years ago, when you guys started this, the idea was more of let's get everybody from behind the screen into the same place,
Yeah,
meet face to face, and really grow the community. Um, and then moving forward, we've grown the different class sizes and
yeah.
we tried different things. But if you guys want to talk about that progression from year one to where we're headed into,
What do you think, Will?
you know, it's it's changed, right? We've made changes every year. We've adjusted to what we thought would be best. We're learning on the fly, just like all of
Yeah,
us in our own businesses, right? We didn't come from a background of throwing events or hosting conferences. We were solely focused on bringing the community together.
yeah.
And the great thing about all of this is we've grown, we've made all these changes, but we've never lost sight of what our main purpose is, and that is
No,
to create an experience, an opportunity for people to learn, to network, to have fun, to gain some confidence. And I think that's what's most important to us is we've talked about all the things. We brainstorm every day on what we're going to do for this year or next
every
year
day.
or where does it go going forward,
Yeah,
but we've always kept our main focus on how do we elevate the experience for the attendee, how do
yep,
we elevate the experience for our vendors, how do we elevate the experience for our teachers. And each year it's getting better, and with that comes new challenges which we are definitely feeling,
yes.
but we've always put the people first, and then we figured everything else out around that.
That is absolutely true. That is absolutely right. We feel like we've done a good job if you just come and have an amazing time and actually don't think about how it happened. Like we don't really want you to worry about, what's behind the curtain, how that all worked. We just want you to come and have a great time. And man, every year, we have a lot of people that have been in to all three, and a lot who have been to two. And I think what Tabitha, you've been to many of them. Uh,
all of them.
yeah, I know, right? Um, not just from your perspective, because I know you're an insider now, so maybe somebody will think differently about that. What are some of the common things you've heard over and over again that people have liked? What are some of the things you've heard?
Well, one, just meeting people in the community, sitting with them at lunch, has changed their business. They've been
Yeah,
able to talk things out with people, realize that their frustrations are the same frustrations that we all share with owning a business. But also meeting the industry leaders, the teachers that they see behind the screens, the people that they idolize, thinking they've got it all put together, but
yeah,
realizing that they're just people, that they make mistakes, that they have frustrations, that things don't always go well, and they're teaching you from a place of, hey, I made this mistake, so I'm going to teach you how to do it right, so you don't have to make this mistake, you can make your own mistakes.
yeah,
But just that networking process has been huge. And then also meeting our vendors,
Yes.
knowing who you're doing business with, just getting that sense of, what, I really like vendor X, and I want to
Yeah.
I want to shop with them more, or I get to see this new laser. Actually, a lot of people say that they leave the conference with their credit cards crying a little bit because they bought a new laser.
Yeah,
But yeah, just meeting people, I think, in person is what you guys are wanting, and that's what people are really leaning into.
it is. Will, I know it's a loaded question. What's some of your favorite things about the conferences?
Uh, when they're done. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Then we say it's funny. We put in all the work, leading up to it, and then when we
Yeah.
get there, we have a blast with it, and we love it, and we're exhausted, and then when we're done, we're like, we need a break. And then the next morning, Mark's calling me, let's fly to Dallas and figure out the next one.
I
Um,
did. That is what happened.
I
Yep.
mean, we were in Dallas, I think, right within the week after we left Tulsa
We
last
were.
year.
We were
We
in
were there.
Yeah, we
Looks,
were in Dallas the week after Tulsa. Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yep.
I think we've all talked about it. It's just the people,
It
right?
is.
It's seeing people, because we understand that these things are expensive to throw,
Yeah,
they cost money, and it's expensive for attendees to come.
we
There's
get it.
I'm never we understand that, right? To
Totally.
get tickets, to get hotels, to be away from your families, to be away from your business. It's an investment.
Yeah.
But we feel like our goal and what we love to do is people leave there feeling like it was worth it. And
Yeah.
we've seen people from when we started in the laser business 6 years ago, or when we started conferences 4 years ago, to where they've grown in their businesses. And they're saying that next level was part of what helped propel them to get there, is why we do this. And that's
Absolutely.
still the biggest thing for me is uh, meeting all the people, right? And seeing their growth and letting people kind of get to know us too, like Tabitha said, getting on a little more personal level. We know that online we all seem really close, but once you come together, it's a completely different feel.
It really is.
And you can also, I mean, for me, for people I've looked up to in the laser community, then you meet them in person and you're like, wow, they have the same struggles.
Yeah.
They're going through the same things, and they're willing to share that insight with us. It's unlike anything else. That, and we always say that we're creating not just a conference. We're creating an experience and something that you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I really find that all these people that I've admired for so long, um, they're just I'm sure there are other communities like this. I'm just not aware of them. Is that we've got so many people that are just so approachable. And I really love that. I get just like everybody else. I get starstruck. There's people that I like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to talk to them. And I realize they're just regular folks who really just enjoy meeting other people. And I will speak for a few of them and us. Is that sometimes they get feeling a little introverted, and extroverted and all that kind of stuff. But more than anything, I just find that this community is incredibly welcoming and really easy to talk to. And so I'm excited about that. We have a lot of first timers coming this year, and I'm excited for you to make some friends that go beyond this event, that you stay connected. In fact, Will and I, we met for the first time at in California at an event. And so you just never know what kind of friendships you're going to make. And it's really, really great. Tabitha, I don't actually remember, where did we meet in person the first time? I don't even recall where that was.
Sacramento at the
First
conference.
Was
conference.
it? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. I didn't. All the things start to run together in my mind. I guess now that I think about it, all the hangouts at Will's place were after that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I've flown to California several times, more in the last couple of years than in my entire life combined. That's for sure. But it's
Yeah,
been really great.
you would have never, if you said point to places you might visit in your lifetime, it would have took at least 300 to 400 cities before I got to Tulsa. And
Fair.
now I know the city as if
Better
it
than
was my
Mark
own.
does. Yes,
Yeah,
you do.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Mark will call me and he's like, "Oh yeah, you won't know this area. I'm out here near 41st and this." I'm like, "Oh, you're not too far from this street." He's like, "How do you know
Yes,
that place?"
that is absolutely true.
Yeah, but you know all the locations based on where the Starbucks are. So
Will, yes,
Yeah,
you do.
or Texas, it's where all the barbecue is.
That is
Uh-huh.
correct. That is correct.
So yeah, it's exciting. We're excited. You know, we're a little over a month away. So if you are interested in coming, definitely check out the website. We have it down here, nextlevellasерevents.com. You can see all the speakers, you can see all the classes that are being taught, you can see all the vendors who are going to be there. A lot of the information that you need is on the website.
Yep.
But you can also message us, you can ask questions in the group, you can shoot an email, whatever works for you. But the website, Next Level Laser Events, has pretty much everything you could possibly need as far as questions there. It's going to be an event that's unlike any other.
Well, and one thing I can think of maybe that is not there at the moment is the breakout class schedule. That's on our Facebook page and in our Facebook group, so you can grab it either place there. It is technically subject to change. I don't think it's going to change, but if you want to kind of start thinking about what classes you might want to take and what days, it's pretty fair that it's probably not going to change much or at all. You'll get a copy of that when you get there, so you don't need to necessarily print this out. And by the way, it's right now it's a full color document, so don't hit print. That'll just burn up a bunch of ink. It will, yes. We'll put it in
Yes,
your program, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really great. Make sure you check out the vendors. There's a lot of vendors that are putting a lot of themselves into this event, and we want to make sure we honor them. Thank you for being there. We want to make sure, hey, if you're going to be shopping, go shopping with these folks for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited. Well, you know what? I'm actually the guest here, so I don't have to actually say goodbye. I'll let you
Well,
guys do
actually, I
it.
was just going to bring up one more thing.
Yeah.
If you haven't already got your room, make sure you get a room at the hotel. We have a great rate for it.
Yes.
And coming back to that community, you don't want to miss out on experiences because you were busy driving to a different hotel because
Yeah.
you weren't eating breakfast with everybody else. So make sure that you take advantage of that great rate. And actually, I don't even know how much the rate is. If you guys know
So
that,
it's 189, which if you use that link on the website, that's how you get that deal. If you go to like Priceline, if you go to the hotel directly, it's going to be a lot more. So definitely use it's right at the top of next level laserevents.com. Book hotel room. Use that link.
yeah,
yes, yep,
I'm gonna
definitely.
copy the link right here, right now for you guys. I'm just pulling it up. Um, So use this one if you are looking for a room, haven't gotten a room yet. Get your rooms booked.
I'm not going to say anybody's
Let's
name,
see.
Kelsey Schwab.
I saw the post. Got to get some
Yep.
tickets. Got to get a hotel.
Kelsey, get
But
after
yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
a great rate. There isn't anything else within walking distance of the hotel. So, and we negotiated a rate that is comparable to any of the hotels that are in the area. So why
Yeah.
not stay where everything's happening? People are going to be hanging out all night, all day. It's an amazing resort. It's going to be
Yeah.
245 degrees outside, but because the Gaylord is indoors, you could walk around. And we were there recently, and I was wearing a
Yeah.
sweater.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about the heat once you get there. It's 6-minute ride from DFW to the resort, and everything's there. There's 4 restaurants, there's bars, there's Starbucks,
It's
there's
huge. It
yeah,
is really
you
great.
know, hundreds of like-minded individuals that you're going to get to connect with.
Yeah.
And there's water park if you bring your family. There's a lot of amenities there. So
Yep.
I think you'll really enjoy the conference, but you'll also enjoy the environment that you're in. So I know we've always talked about not just making it a conference where they're learning, and we want that,
Yeah.
but this is a chance to refresh, replenish, and feel good as you go right into Q4.
Yep.
Get yourself ready. It's almost like it's like a conference / vacation in a lot
Yep.
of ways.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna not lose my voice this year. That's one of my goals. We'll see how that goes.
We might be taking bets on that later.
Oh, yeah, that's
Over
true.
under Friday 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Mark's
Oh,
voice
no, no,
is
no,
out.
nope, no, no, no. But we cannot wait. One last thing, I guess I'll say. I will speak for all of the leadership group here. Our favorite thing is to meet you, to spend time with you. We love the classes, we love the general sessions, we love all the things that we've been putting our heart and souls into. But the best thing is being with you guys. So I, for one, am looking forward to staying up later than I should, just to spend more time with people. I'm totally fine with being exhausted at the end, because that means I put everything I had into it and into the community. And that's what we're really looking forward to. Please come up and talk to every one of us. I want selfies with everybody. So please ask. I would love to. I'm the human selfie stick here with these long arms, so I'm happy to do that. But we'd love to see every one of you and talk to every one of you. So let's make sure if that's what you want, that we take the time to do that. Enjoy all the classes, enjoy the relaxation at the hotel, go to the different restaurants in the hotel, have a great time. But more than anything, connect with some people. And we're going to do everything we can to help you do that. Yep.
Absolutely.
We are at an hour, which we always say we want to respect everyone's time. We thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you, Tabitha, for leading today. It's so weird. We're so used to being in the opposite roles, and
It's weird. Yeah.
like, doesn't know what to do with himself. So
I do not.
Well, Mark, thank
but
you
thank you guys all.
for being here with us today. We really
Thank you very
appreciate it.
much.
You're so good at being a guest as well.
Thank
Who
you.
knew? We
Perfect.
appreciate
Thanks,
you
guys.
being here, and yeah, thank you. We'll see you guys all at the conference.
Yes, grab your
Peace.
tickets. We'll see you soon. All right, when you guys hang out here, we'll hang out. Boom, boom.